Do you want me to continue setup?
Oh yeah. Keep setting up, because that's what the early birds want to see. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite thing was I looked at Board Game Geek, and it said like, this game is about attracting birds to your preserve. And I was like, okay. Then I read the rule book, and it was like, in this game, you're a bird enthusiast, and list 5 different kinds of bird enthusiasts that could exist.
Did it?
Yeah, I can't even remember them. Bird watcher is the only one like I could think of.
This is wild.
I didn't know there's that many categories of bird enthusiasts.
Tweet.
You can tweet at us on Twitter at ATBW Josh and Phil. We're not just on Twitter. We also have a Facebook page now. I've got 2 rhymes left.
Only 2?
Should I just give you both of them? You can pick one.
No.
Choose your own rhyme.
No.
With a roll of the dice, the podcast gets nice.
You so proud of this?
Here's the song.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Above the Board, where we stay above the board with
Josh and Phil.
Kind of switched it up on you a little bit. So, for those of you who've never tuned in, what we do is we play board games together, and we like to chit-chat about things that fuel our geeky hearts.
Yes.
But the actual board game playing is what lubricates this conversation. You know, keeps it nice and moist, perfect. Compact, like a king cake. You know.
I don't know how we got. Is king cake also moist?
It's not actually. It's very dry. But our conversations are lit. They're fire.
Yes.
They're busting.
Which is also not moist.
So anyway, today we are playing.
We're recorded in front of a live streaming audience at Twitch TV/Above the Board.
I always forget that part, even though it's right.
It's my only line.
I'm so sorry.
With Josh and Phil. And I didn't even get to say my name this time. You really dominated our intro today.
We can do it over.
Oh, with the magic of editing.
Yeah. Do you want to?
No, I like the organic feel
of
it.
All right. I was trying to not let myself say her name twice. You know.
I know. I think you overdid it then.
I did, yeah. I shot for the moon and landed on Saturn. So anyway, today, I'm very excited. We're playing one of my favorite board games that I discovered in the past couple of years, Wingspan. And I've been trying to get Phil to play this game with me for a good while now.
I played Wingspan one time, and it was at a work conference. So
yeah.
You know it was at least 2 years ago.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to talk smack and say, oh, I played this so many more times than you, I'm sure I'm going to beat you this. I'm not going to. I'm just not going to. At this point in the show, I've just accepted the fact that when I play against you, more than likely I'll lose, but it could be a close game. Because pretty much every competitive game has been close, or it's gone back and forth, and then I end up losing, which is fine. It's fine. It's all good. I get competitive at the moment, but I don't harbor just, you know what I mean?
That's good.
So,
that's key.
Yeah. At least not to you, Phil. Maybe someone else. I might be like, if you bring that game in my house again, I'm going to light you both on fire. Okay? But anyway.
That's what our friendship has bought me.
Yeah, well, that among many other things, you know. Free hugs whenever you want.
I didn't know you charged others.
Yeah, dude, all the time. It depends on the person, but the rates vary across the board. From material things to favors. How else would I construct an empire such as I have?
If it weren't for your excellent hugs.
Obviously, family I don't charge. But anyway, I digress.
No, I want to see the accounting for these hugs. The rest of we got to pull the whole podcast to a halt and figure
Time out. Let me see the numbers, please. But yeah, no, this game, I got it for Christmas a couple years ago, and then I started playing it with my family in Florida, and I was like, this is probably the most relaxing competitive board game I've ever played, or game period, really, that I've ever played in my life. Because even when I know I'm losing, I'm just enjoying putting little birds down because it's such a pretty game. Yes. Everything is so cool. You can't get mad at this game. Basically, the premise is to construct a bird preserve and quote unquote attract as many birds as you can to your player mat that's your bird preserve, to gain points. And at the end of 4 rounds,
I would like to read the first line of the rule book.
You go ahead,
because it's a treasure.
You go ahead.
You are bird enthusiasts, researchers, bird watchers, ornithologists, and collectors seeking to discover and attract the best birds to your network of wildlife preserves.
Boom.
So it's a whole network of wildlife preserves on this board. Welcome to the Becker Network Wildlife Preserve.
This is Joe Exotic of the bird world. Which, by the way, quick side note, I binge watched the entire Joe versus Carol show on Peacock. It's not a story we needed. You're a fan of Kate McKinnon, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly. She is a scary good impersonator.
Yes.
Like, scary good. To the point where Kate McKinnon looks nothing like Carol Baskin. Like, if you put two ladies side by side. But there were so many times in this 8th episode, especially towards the end when it's like catching up to like right before Netflix approached her to do the documentary that everyone blew up about a couple years ago. She looks, sounds, everything exactly like Carol Baskin. And it is uncanny. Like, it is really weird. Like, the guy that they got to play Joe, he does a pretty darn good job too. But... you know, it's kind of hard to mess that up because that character's so insane, right? Like, and not that the rest of that cast from the Netflix show isn't insane and colorful, for lack of better words, but Kate McKinnon, man, it's really creepy how good she can impersonate anybody. So anyway, it's on Peacock if you ever want to check it out, at least the pilot. It's not a story you need to see if you've already seen the Netflix show.
Haven't seen the Netflix show.
Or if you know anything about Joe Exotic.
For Peacock.
Well, then there you go. It's not really... It's not a thumbs down. It's just like a... I mean...
So that's why I do thumbs up, thumbs down. You gotta... Yeah. Is it a thumbs up? Is it worth a watch?
I mean, it's... If you don't know anything about Joe Exotic, yeah. But if you've already watched the Netflix show, no. Because I will say this, one other quick note about it. Because there's a lot of, like, sensitive things about Joe Exotic's life. And things that happen, like, to the people around him. Like suicide and domestic... abuse and substance abuse that gets treated very tastefully in the Peacock show.
Is it a comedy or just like a biopic?
It's like a dramedy. I mean, there are definitely some pretty good comedic moments in the show, but it's not like you're not gonna watch it to like laugh.
Okay.
And when I say it's a story, we don't really need it because, like I said, the Netflix show's already exploded with popularity. But it's like, if you already watched that, and you already know what's going to happen, or what has happened, I should say, then we don't need a dramatization just 2 years later of exactly, pretty much.
Oh, weird.
Like, I feel like if this was a show that was done in, like, 10 years, it might be a little bit more poignant.
Not enough time for them to have a new perspective on it.
Like, he's got a 22 or 23-year sentence, and he's not eligible till 2036.
Interesting. And what's his only crime? Keeping tigers?
No.
Well, now I gotta watch it.
No. He hired a hitman to kill Carol Baskin. Well, the best part about that is...
I like your finger quotes on hitman.
Because he's not a hitman. He's a criminal that definitely killed somebody. But he's like... He approaches him and he's like, here's $3,000. I need you to take care of Carol Baskin. He's like, okay, how do you want me to do it? Everyone that knew about it ratted him out almost immediately. And this hitman took the $3,000 and just was like, see ya. So, he got caught for that. And to be fair, everybody involved in that story aren't really the best people, you know? Like, anyone who has, like, a wildlife sanctuary, you're not conserving species. Like, you're...
I'm playing a game about having a wildlife sanctuary.
That's why I said this is Joe Exotic of the birds. You can be Carol, I'll be Joe. But don't worry, I won't send a hitman.
They'll just take your money?
Yeah. But anyway, that was that.
What a treat.
What a treat.
So that's the premise of Wingspan.
Yeah. It's Joe Exotic, the board game.
Yeah,
with birds.
Let's get to the game, I guess.
Alright, so first things first, you can play birds at any time as long as you have the food to pay the cost. The eggs are more for, besides that, they're more for, because they're 1 point per egg.
Oh.
And each bird...
Eggs are highly valuable.
...has the little indicator, the type of nest, and then how many eggs each bird can have on their card.
And the type of food they eat is what we pay to play them.
To play them, correct.
Why are you tucking cards?
Cards behind it, that's a point per tuck card.
Okay.
So certain birds, like hawks or eagles, it'll say once you activate it, if you have a bird in your hand that's like less than a certain wingspan amount, you can tuck that bird to gain an extra point.
So now we're ready to play.
Yeah.
Is it whoever most recently saw a bird starts? I hate that modern trend in rule books.
Whoever saw a horror movie, whoever...
Yeah, like at I can't remember what it is. One of them I got. It's like whoever has the pointiest ears.
I played ones that had a very after dark starter requirement that would require removal of clothes. We'll just leave it at that.
Good grief.
Or just the trust of each other's words.
Yeah.
One or the other.
I got one spy game, and I believe it says choose someone to go first by whatever means possible, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That like heavily implies that if you just start, you're going first.
Or if you kill the other person, you
Yeah,
go
I
first.
was like, this
It's intense.
I don't want that. I just want to roll a die and see who gets the highest roll.
Would you like me to go first, or you want to go first? I'm more than happy to let the guests go first.
So to begin, I feel like I should play a bird.
If you can, go
Seems
for
like
it.
A strong opener.
For sure.
It will be the purple martin,
Purple Martin.
which costs a worm.
There we go. I too am going to play a bird for my first. I'm going to play a Wilson Snipe.
Ooh.
I'm going to go snipe hunting, which also costs a worm.
I see your bird is only 4 centimeters in wingspan. Well, mine is 46.
Yeah, it's a big boy. No, it's 41 centimeters.
Oh.
It's like 4 centimeters. It's like a hummingbird.
know.
I've never seen a snipe that size.
Alright, I guess I need glasses. So far away.
It's okay. There's also a glare.
I could go here, and since I don't have a bird or whatever, I just take a resource. Oh, we never rolled these, right?
Yeah, go for it. You have a good roll.
I like how they're chonky wooden dice.
Mm-hmm. Here you can choose any one food, or you can discard a bird to get an extra food, so you can get up to 2.
I choose the worm, and then I will discard a card to take other worm. And so if the tray is ever all the same die face, we have to re-roll it, right?
You can if you want. You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
What else we got in there? Oh, you know what? I am going to take food as well. And take that last little wormy.
Okay, so now it's my go. And we just play until we're out of these
Until
action
you're out of
cubes,
things,
right?
and then it's at the end of round 1. And then we figure out who got the most points at round 1 pertaining to the goal over there.
All right, I'm going to play another bird. Bird. It's a bird. Get a copyright strike. The black-nested... Oh, I'm sorry. The black-necked stilt.
When played, draw 2 bird cards.
Yeah.
So you got an emu up there you can get.
Top deck 1. Oh, that's...
See? It's such a relaxing, beautiful game.
I do like the idea of an emu. Gain all the grain that are in the bird feeder? Oh, but I distribute the rest to the other players. Being there's only 2 of us, we would just like split it evenly. The Rufus-banded honey eater.
What a silly Rufus. What else we got in there? I'm going to actually...
And so a nectar can just be used for anything?
Huh?
Is that correct? Nectar can be anything?
Yeah, it's a wild food. I am going to actually lay an egg. Put on my little snipe.
I don't have any eggs yet. I'm bugging out, man.
So what would you like to talk about first?
Let's save the Batman towards the end, maybe.
Yeah, because that'll probably be the longest section, I
know.
would imagine. What about Uncharted? We both saw Uncharted. I went on a date to see it with Randy.
I went on a date to see it with Randy, too.
Oh, good. I knew Randy loved it. It was so nice, she saw it twice.
No, I mean my wife.
Oh, okay.
I super enjoyed it. I just had a blast.
Yeah, I know. It's such a good, fun popcorn movie.
I know. And I came out of it and I told my wife, I feel like if I was like 14, this would be my new favorite movie.
Yeah, I can
Like
see
it's
that.
like amazing.
And it's got like a lot of like polished like mid-thousands vibe to it,
Oh yeah.
you know?
It like in a lot of ways remind me of like a Pirates of the Caribbean era film.
Yeah.
I would definitely
sure.
say Pirates is better.
Well, yes.
I would, I don't mind saying them in the same breath.
That's fine. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of those movies where it's just like when it was done, like if I was watching at home and I just needed background noise for something, like,
yeah.
I'd put it on again.
Yeah, it was funny and exciting. Although I'm not gonna lie, going into it, right? Like the trailer has that scene of him like falling between the boxes hanging off the back of the plane.
Yeah.
And then he like gets to the top, and then the car comes, and I was
hits
like,
him.
they put this much in the trailer? That's a bad sign.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
then we go into theater. That's the opening scene of the movie.
fair. Yeah. And
And
you're
I
like,
was
this is
I
a
said-
bad
I said,
sign.
Oh no! I was like, Emily, if they do 48 hours earlier, I'm gonna leave. And then it's like 15 years earlier. I was like, oh no. But I was pleasantly surprised in that when they got back to that scene in like normal timeline, they like presented it differently. It didn't just like replay it.
Yeah.
It was like you saw these different perspectives. And that's like my big thing is so many movies like use the in medias res record scratch 48 hours earlier.
Like, bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, we can't watch movies that start slow anymore. You know? I feel like the movies that do it the best is when it's different when you get to it. Like, it's like recontextualized somehow, you know? And the fact that they were showing all the different character perspectives that you didn't even know were involved in that scene made it, like, exciting in a new way and not just like, I'm watching the same 5 minutes I saw at the beginning of the movie.
Right. I also really appreciated Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland's chemistry.
Oh, it was really good.
It was really good. Because at first, when they met each other at the bar, that first moment didn't sell me. I was like, this is weird. The back and forth, you know, banter and the one-up, trying to like outdo the other or like out-thieve the other, I guess.
Yes,
it was really good.
Fun.
And then, of course, the love interest, or kind of love interest of the movie, Chloe, she was fun, too.
That's true. I guess I kind of like that they didn't go all in on the romance. She was just like another character.
Are you somewhat familiar with the games, like as far as...
Not really, not at all. It's only the first one. I had a roommate and I watched him play like 50% through. I feel like my peak geekdom was like me and like 3 of my best friends lived in a house together. We all bought big screen TVs in his basement. So it was like this wall of large TVs. One person would be watching this like movie that was interesting. Then 2 other people would be playing these AAA titles, and then I'd be playing yet another one.
Dude, yeah. I remember there was a few times where, like, if we had, like, a big thing, we'd come over, and you guys would be down there. I remember everyone kind of doing their own little thing.
But it wasn't like, but we were always, like, engaged. But, oh, that's cool, man. And so I missed it. I tried to convince my wife we should have 2 TVs in our living room. She just wouldn't go for it. I'm like, dude, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be like playing one thing and watch something else and vice versa.
I get it. Although, like, at this point in my life, like, age-wise, like, cognitively speaking, I'd probably lose my mind a little bit if there's, like, 2 things on... I don't know if I could do it. It's a cool idea. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
I mean, you want to watch, like, 2 TV shows at once, maybe?
No, but, like, playing a game.
Trying to be like Ozymandias from The Watchmen.
Nice reference. Good old Ozymandias. What a villain.
I just can't even bring myself to watch that movie because the comic is so good.
You should watch the show.
I do want to see the show.
The show is phenomenal.
That's right. I'm like...
And Jeremy Irons plays Ozymandias.
Oh, Jeremy Irons is so good.
Well, dude, he's so good. How they failed the comic and the movie, I feel like. They definitely redeemed, not all of it, but like a good chunk of like just how Watchmen is supposed to feel in the show. Even though it's like a legacy show, it's like a sequel. I mean, it obviously references events from the comic, not the movie, which is really cool. But it doesn't like harp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be like a Watchmen like expert.
We were talking about Uncharted.
We were, and then we got...
And I just want to say, I think the final set piece with the pirate ships was awesome.
A lot of fun.
Like, it was great.
It was. It's like one of those movies that if you had the chance to see it in theaters, it was totally worth it.
Oh, definitely worth it to see on the big screen.
Especially that climax scene where the pirate ships being hauled out on helicopters.
About it. It's just because like that's what the movies are for.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. But yeah, no, I'm glad you enjoyed it because I thoroughly enjoyed it too. And Randy loved it. And it was one of those movies too where like when it was done, it's like a roller coaster. Like you're like, man, that was fun. But then the more you think about it, the more you're like, that really was fun. I want to write it again.
Yeah,
and that's exactly how Uncharted was.
Because the characters were like just enough that you cared about what happened, but you weren't like overthinking it.
And they set up everything enough to where I now want a sequel, but if they never make one, I'm also not going to like it.
Yes. You know what? I feel like I'd compare it to maybe National Treasure as well.
Ooh, yeah.
I think I might like it more than National Treasure.
Yeah, okay. Definitely the second one. I did not like the second National Treasure. That was not a good one. Made me very sad. I would say it's on par with National Treasure. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. Very similar.
I wouldn't put one above the other. It's a pretty even kill.
I do want to say Tom Holland as an action star, mixed feelings. Because on one hand, he's great at it. But I feel like his boyish face, like, sets him back.
I understand.
Because he was so talented. Like, all the stunt work he was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, he is top quality action star material. But he looks like he's 10. Which makes him a great Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But
not much.
A little bit less believable as a treasure hunter.
I get it. And, like, definitely a lot less as, like, a womanizing treasure hunter.
Yeah.
Like Nate's supposed to be. Because, like, when he was, like, flirting, I was like, this is weird. Like, I feel weird.
I know.
I feel dirty.
Like Anakin Padme vibes.
Yeah, like, this is odd.
Because I was, like, kind of like, how old is he supposed to be in this story?
I don't know. I also find it
least 15.
odd. At least, at very least. I also find it odd when the montage of him doing all his like workout regime.
Oh
where he's
yeah,
like,
that's what made me think of it. It's it's like objectifying him, but he like looks kind of like a teenager.
Well, it makes me weird too, because like I'm sadly addicted to TikTok, and like there's so many talks, I guess,
or ticks, maybe,
or ticks. I don't know. I
a
don't
mixture of ticks and talks.
Sure. That talk about how hot Tom Holland is, but they're all obviously younger people saying it.
Oh no, like that's what I'm saying. He looks like he would be the star soccer player at your high school that all the girls would want to date.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be
25.
like, yeah.
That's very weird. I do think it's funny. Fun side note: Zendaya said that she hates him for one particular reason, is because he's a classically trained dancer. That like he makes all of his, because he got his start with the theater performance of Billy Elliot.
Oh.
So, but she hates that he's a classically trained dancer because he makes all the movements that a stunt man would make, especially Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like he makes it all like natural. Like it's just fluid.
Yeah.
Like it's like second nature to him. Like the flips, the landings, like how he moves his body when he does, like if it's a wire pull where he gets pulled back or something. It's not awkward flailing. He makes it look athletic.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes a lot of sense.
And she's like, I hate him for it. I hate like
he's so good she hates him.
Yeah, in the marketing or right after No Way Home came out, that's all she's like, I hate it. Like, look at this. Like he's so good at getting blown back by something. It's dumb.
That's funny because it was like eye opening to me when I found out that like Jackie Chan choreographs his fight scenes with 8 counts.
Yeah, yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's like actually just dancing.
Yeah, which is really cool.
I know, it's impressive. All right, I'll take
Your
my
turn, sir.
You know what? I had a strategy and everything, and now you got me thinking about Tom Holland working out.
That's my strategy.
So just correct me if I'm wrong here. I want to play Princess Stephanie's Astrapia. So I can trade 2 to be a worm and use a nectar to be a cherry?
Yeah, you sure can.
Well, that's certainly what I'm going to do.
And slide your bird. Whoa, easy.
It's not just any bird. It's Princess Stephanie's Astrapia.
I'm sorry. Oh, that's a nice one activated card, though.
My thoughts exactly. So with this nectar/cherry die,
You can choose one or the other.
wouldn't you always pick the nectar?
Not necessarily. Did you use your nectar?
I did.
Okay, so every time you use a nectar token for anything, you put it there. Because if you get 5, you get 2 points for the end of the game.
So again, wouldn't you just take nectar every time? Like, isn't cherry the worst of the two?
Not necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. You're not always going to get that dice. Like, that's a rare
Well,
one.
I know, but if you're choosing between nectar and a cherry, you should choose nectar, right?
If you already have a nectar, why would you get
Are you
another
limited
nectar?
to one?
No, but if you have a nectar, why would you get another nectar?
Because they're wild.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you use up 2 wilds for 1 card? Unless that card is like a bomb point giver.
I'm just looking at this as like, this is the difference between buying a gift card for cherries or getting cash, right? Like,
Is it?
cash is just better than a gift card, right?
No, it's not.
Yes!
I mean, okay, a gift card for cherries at the cherry store versus cash? Yeah, for sure. But if someone's giving you a Visa gift card that you can use online, you can use anywhere you want,
Yeah.
or cash that you can only use at a store that you have to physically go to now, they've now given you a chore to spend your present. Do you see my point?
I do, but I don't think that was my point.
No, I see your point. I'm just giving you a counterpoint.
Always appreciate an overextended metaphor.
Yeah, no, hey. You know, what else are we here for, Philip? All right, so that's the end of round 1. So now we take one of our markers. I got most.
And then I get 0 for not having it.
No, you have
I
1.
kept
So you're in
around.
second.
There we go.
All right, so now round 2. We have one less move for this round.
Do you get to go first this time, or is it still me?
I'll let you go first. I don't think it
You'll
matters.
let me?
I don't think it matters. I mean, don't be rude about it, or I'll just go. You know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. A gift bird in the mouth, if you will.
I am famous for looking gift horses in the mouth.
Are you?
I am. Like at work, my boss is like, the higher ups want to try something new, and everyone should take a Friday off. And I was like, does this count against our vacation?
No, just take it off.
You offered us free lunch on Friday? Are you trying to not give me free lunch? Everyone's like, shut up, just take a Friday off work.
Just take it.
So I want to play the American Avocet.
Very
so
nice.
I've got a worm, and Nectar is wild, and Nectar is wild. So now I have an Avocet.
And once between turns, when another player takes the lay egg action, this bird lays one egg on any other bird with the same type of nest.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Like
good.
my black-necked stilt.
Just like that.
As
Very
a bird
good.
enthusiast, I've attracted him to my network of wildlife preserves.
Yeah, you're not an ornithologist or a bird watcher. You're just an enthusiast.
Well, those are all forms of enthusiasts.
No, I was saying
And I want to know what the difference between a researcher and an ornithologist is.
maybe like a zoologist versus a
Like the researcher is like a broader,
Yeah.
I research wetlands.
like an ecologist maybe.
Okay. But
And
an
then-
ornithologist is like, I'm all
Only
in on the birds.
Only birds.
I'm here to attract birds and nothing else.
Get out of here. Anything else? Only birds. This is Joe Exotic. What's the next thing you want to talk about, Phil?
I was going to ask you about Elden Ring. As someone who dislikes Dark Souls, me,
Yeah. Well,
I wonder
also
if you... See, that's what I thought. I didn't think you were a fan. So how'd you
Yeah.
end up with Elden Ring, and how do you like it?
dude, so like all the reviews sucked me in, you know, like all these super criticky voices of reason, I guess. Drew
I
me in.
challenge the idea that video game critics are voices
Dude.
of reason.
It depends on where they're from, because like honestly, IGN. No offense to any IGN lovers out there, but they obviously get paid for their reviews.
I saw this whole thing where there's this whole negative feedback loop, and that no one's going to read your review unless you can post it before the game comes out. And so publishers are
Give
only
them-
going to send games to people who give them favorable reviews.
Exactly.
So like you can't be in business unless you inflate your scores.
It's very true. So IGN gave it a perfect 10. Most places are giving it like pretty close to a perfect score across the board. That's not what drew me in. It's the fact that most like critics are saying that like if you've never played a From Software game before ever, this might be the best entryway. And that's what they said about Bloodborne when that first came out. And at the time it was true. Bloodborne was probably the easiest like Souls game to get into
Yeah.
because it was more fast, it was quicker paced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like if you were more into like hack and slash mindset where like if you could just get in that extra hit that would topple an enemy or a boss versus like being patient and waiting and timing it, you know.
Yeah.
Like you still have to do that obviously, but it was the window's much more generous in Bloodborne. That's what got me into Bloodborne and I loved it. I loved Bloodborne. It's a great game, right? So then when they were saying that this is now the new entry point for From Software games, I was like, I gotta give it a try. You know? And it looks great. Like, it is a beautiful game. And they took the whole Breath of the Wild approach where they open you up on everything. Like, obviously, you can't see everything. You have to uncover the map as you go. Most From Software games are fairly linear in the sense that, like, you can only go this far until you level up or you have a certain item. This, you can go all the way to the end if you wanted to. Like, run all the way to the edge of the map to fight the final boss. If that's what you wanted to do, you're not going to win unless you're very good at From Software games, I guess, you know, and you have tons of time because starting equipment's not going to get you anywhere. But it's a patient game for people who've never played a From Software game. I know that a lot of people might argue that because it is difficult. It is very difficult. And, like, a lot of people that I talk to complain because, like, the second you walk out, there's, like, an open world boss, like, just right there that, like, decimates you if you get anywhere near him. And trust me, he got me a few times.
Oh, yeah. I saw a bunch of stuff on Reddit where it's like, it's basically there to introduce you to the idea that you should not fight everything immediately.
Exactly. But, like, more so than Bloodborne, because Bloodborne gave me that feel of, like, when you did beat a section of a level and beat a boss and got whatever loot or whatever, like, man, it was so empowering. Like, you felt great. You're like, cool, I can do it again. I mean, obviously you're not going to, but, like, it felt like you could. And in this, it's the same thing, but because it's not linear, I feel like it gives you a greater sense of accomplishment. Because you're not really entirely sure, like, where you stand level-wise against something else that you're going to run into. Like that boss. Like, if somehow I was able to beat him in the first go, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. But then once I started realizing that was, like, the anchor point of how difficult the game is or why you shouldn't fight everything you come across, I'd feel even better about myself or about my progress in the game. As far as what a game gives you back, like a sense of accomplishment, it's probably one of the best ones that I could recommend in recent years.
I think that's the one thing I appreciate about the Souls game is it did kind of have that old school feel of where like you have to achieve something. Unlike wherever the world has gotten to where it's like your health bar replenishes if you hide behind a box long enough, you know?
Right. Now, this one is just like every other Souls game. It's like all about item management. You do have to be patient when you're in combat. You have to be careful where you're moving around in combat. But because it's not linear, you can like just wander into the path of like 10 other NPCs that are going to... Like you take down the one that you're fighting, then you turn around and there's like a small army coming to meet you. Like crap. I didn't mean for that to happen. And you used up all your like healing resources in that one fight, so it's a lot of fun. It's one of those games where I'm not going to play it hardcore, but like 2 or 3 times a week, play for a few hours, and then get my feel for a little bit. Because also, I don't know if you're familiar with any Souls games, the lore and the story is not like in your face. It's more like exploring and reading and...
Yeah, I like that.
Getting stuff. Like, I mean, there is a story, and it's interesting. George R.R. Martin, he didn't write the main story, but he collaborated with it, and then he wrote a lot of the side quests.
That's neat.
And one thing about the side quests that I think is really cool is there's no markers. Like, you could just be, like, wandering through an area, and then someone would be like, help me! Like, there's nothing highlighting where this person is. And then once you find him, then you talk to him. They don't give you, like, clear directions, like, go here and kill X amount of enemies. They tell you what you need to do, but there's no guide. You kind of got to figure it out on your own, or cheat, I guess, go on YouTube. I definitely give it a thumbs up, for sure.
Nice.
Especially from someone who's not used to those type of games.
Mm-hmm.
And my only recommendation for you personally is if you ever wanted to try it, like wait until it's on sale.
Sure. I guess my one big question, is it like kind of like the Dark Souls where to me I always felt like the controls are really stiff. Like you can only like move in one of 8 directions or whatever.
Yeah, it's still that way. It's a little bit more fluid, a little bit, but they still have your stamina bar and you still have your 8 directional dodge moves. But it's more fluid in the sense that I feel like the dodge is more, not controllable, but like predictable, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe people won't agree with me on that.
I was like, what made me mad about the Souls game? Like, I felt like you moved like on a chessboard. Or like in most modern 3D games, you can take a big step or a small step or a half step. But like Dark Souls is like, you move from this square to this square.
Yeah, no, I get it. This still has that, but I feel like it's not... And again, I could be wrong in saying this, but I feel like personally it's not as constricting as like Bloodborne.
Gotcha.
Because Bloodborne definitely was that.
Okay.
And that's really the only other Souls game that I like sat down and played. So that's my only base to go off of. I do like the idea that there's no cap to the level because you gain a level for every time you upgrade your stat. And I'm playing as a samurai character. I mean, come on. But like, for example, like his primary stats are dexterity and... Can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Every time you level up dexterity, it strengthens all the things that you would think would apply to using a katana, like a two-handed katana. Neat. Like it'll do output your damage, but it'll also like increase the damage you can block with that weapon. But every time you level up a stat, your character levels up, and your character doesn't have a cap, but each stat caps out at 99. So I guess technically there is a level cap.
Yeah, 99 times 7 or whatever.
Yeah, but like I don't really see anyone anytime soon leveling their character all the way up to, because that would take forever.
I mean, somebody will do it.
Thousands of hours.
Somebody all over Twitch. That and the racing to the final boss.
Yeah,
and beating him naked or whatever.
I love seeing. I mentioned TikTok. There's all these TikToks of like these perfect dodgers and like people who can parry really well, because like the parry mechanic is. It's like your lifesaver. Like if your character can parry with a shield or like a big sword, that's pretty much going to be your only window to like do tons of damage. I love watching these TikToks where these dudes will go up against these like bosses that are like, the community's like, I hate this guy, I hate he's so hard. And it's just like a dude in like minimal armor and 2 swords, and he's just like, doesn't get hit once, and he's just like, just carves him up, takes him out in like 10 seconds. You know, like that's never going to be me, but it's still pretty cool.
Just gotta imagine. Just gotta believe in yourself.
I do believe myself, and I think I'll get to the end of the game one day, but I'm also realistic in the sense that I'm never going to commit that much time to be that good. You know what I mean?
Respect. I'm gonna burn this egg.
That's dark.
Just a bad chef. Can't even make scrambled eggs.
Do the Gordon Ramsay style. Very
good.
And
let's both get an egg. I'm that kind of man.
Let's.
I mean, I'm gonna like eggs are worth points, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna come back to bite me, but That's
It
what
could be worse.
Princess Stephanie's Astrapia does.
Yeah. What a queen, you know?
Not yet.
Just getting there.
All 45 centimeters of that Princess Stephanie's Astrapia.
What's left in the... Is it just a rat in the...
Yes. So you can re-roll.
Sure.
Speaking of rats, super pumped about Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Have you seen any of the previews for that?
No? Is it a show? Or a comic?
No, video game. It's
what?
it's like a Ninja Turtles arcade game, beat 'em up.
Oh, nice.
And it's like a brand new one.
Is it done in the vein of like the old school
Oh yeah,
Turtles game?
like the old arcade games. They revealed Splinter as a playable character, and then just the other day they revealed that they're gonna release a pack of all the old like Nintendo and arcade like Ninja Turtles like all in one bundle, like
Nice.
called the Cowabunga pack.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm
gonna
playing all Ninja Turtle games this year.
Lay eggs.
No other games for me. You're gonna lay eggs?
Yeah, I'm gonna lay eggs.
You know what my American advocate has to say about that? I get a free egg.
And then each player gets one food from the bird feeder, starting to play with your choice. I choose you, Philip. Get a food item out of there.
Get a food out of there. I'm gonna get another cherry.
Yeah, Cherry, when you threw that fit about why wouldn't you always just go with the nectar?
I felt shamed into it. Because I've been thinking that the whole time.
Yeah?
Like, I should just take the nectar, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I spent a nectar. Doesn't that go on this?
Yeah, it does. It's the only downfall of this game is that there's so many like things that you would miss. Like if you're not kind of super focused on
You're trying to talk about Elden Ring at the same time.
Elden Ring though, man. It's pretty good.
I'm gonna play a bird. Sounds like a rap song. Someone taking advantage of a lady.
Oh my
I'm gonna play a bird. What? Players gonna play birds.
I guess. Maybe in the 20s.
One of those 20s rap songs.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to shout out Prodigy the Kid, who made our theme song.
Yeah, and that
Just released a new music video. It's really good.
It was.
I just had to play Count Raggy's Bird of Paradise. Count Raji's? How would you...
Yeah, sure.
Raggy's. It's like a double G.
It's from Australia. Who knows how they pronounce it over there? No, you know what? It's Australia. It's probably hard G. You're probably right.
A hard G's gonna play a bird.
You're born in the wrong era, Philip. You're born in the wrong era. It's good times. I'm going to play a bird. Horsefield's bushlark. Hey, we have 2 viewers, man.
I know, they're good people. Thanks for watching.
This is a very quiet game.
Listening along. Yeah, sorry, we're bird enthusiasts, so
We're being quiet. So the birds don't get scared.
gotta take it in, man. Otherwise, I won't attract them to
I want you
network
to...
of wildlife preserves.
I'm going to play bird. The cover bird, the scissor-tailed flycatcher.
Classic bird.
It's my favorite American bird.
Oh, yeah.
A little map covered color.
Did you know the mating display of these birds involves aerial acrobatics that show off their long tail?
My favorite
So
bird.
is that like part of its mating ritual on the cover?
I guess. It's a little odd. Why'd you point that out? Now I'm going to feel weird every time I look at this box. I feel like my favorite bird is trying to mate with me every time I look at it.
Ornithographic.
Ugh. Yuck. Alright, that's the end of round 2. So that is your go. Well, actually, tell me about Six Gun first.
The Six Gun? I guess, like kind of a Lovecraftian cowboy story.
Sold.
I know, right?
Immediately.
And it's really pulpy in the best way. And it's
Who publishes it?
It's really well written. Well, now you got me. Oh, this is what Google's for.
I'm going to say Image. It could also be Dark Horse. Dark Horse likes to do their weird stuff.
Published by Oni Press.
Oh! Okay.
The premise is there is these 6 magic guns that in every era appear, these 6 weapons, and so it's like in ancient times they were like swords and stuff, and now Wild West era they appear as 6 shooters.
Dude,
And they're like full spaghetti western, like unlimited ammo.
this is amazing.
And yeah, so the first one is it's like this evil general is like attacking, and this like huckster manages to kill him, and you have to kill the person to get the guns. So he's got like 4 of the guns,
Yeah.
and this other girl has like the 6th gun.
This is like Infinity Stones.
Yeah, it kind of is. And so the gun number 5 is kind of out there, and they get different powers from them and stuff. Yeah, like Infinity Stones. But it is kind of like a Lovecraftian horror kind of thing.
Dude, I'm
Fighting.
sold. Is this new?
Yeah.
Like a new or new-ish?
It's not that new because
Yeah.
like volume 10 is out, I guess.
Yeah. So a few years maybe.
But I've got volumes 1 through 7,
Okay.
and it's really fun, and all the storylines are interesting, and it's like the world is kind of big enough. It's kind of like Lost before it got towards the end, where you're like anything can happen, and it was just like more stuff, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Like the setting is so broad that I like it doesn't bother me at all. They're not like we need to get all the guns right now.
So is there like time jumping like in between time periods, or is
Not
it
really.
all...
Like the whole story takes place in the Wild West, and it like follows like the same few characters.
Gotcha.
And like they bring in new and interesting characters all the time, and it'll like cut in their backstory. Like it focuses on the character's journey, and so it's always bringing in all these new characters that are cool.
That's
And
really
they
cool,
like
man.
reconnect back, and it is just super fun.
I'm not surprised though that you found like a really cool sounding comic, because if it's not Marvel or DC,
Yeah.
I can usually rely on you to like suggest like the Bigfoot Bob or whatever.
Bigfoot Bill?
Yes,
Yeah,
dude,
it's so
it's
fun.
so fun. And
Kind of mad. The author is like super into selling NFTs now.
Ugh.
And I'm like, go back and finish the Bigfoot Bill trilogy, please.
Stop with all this NFT talk, please. World, it's annoying.
But anyways, yeah. No, I like kind of these weird indie things. or
Yeah,
whatever.
but they're always really good. Like, what was the other one that I got super into there, like, a long time ago? Not maybe Metropolis? No, Metro City. Was that it?
Astro City?
Astro City.
Dude, yes.
Astro City, so good.
It is so good, man.
I think that was at the point where, like, I hadn't really dabbled into anything that wasn't mainstream Marvel, DC,
Yeah.
or even Image or Dark Horse, like, as far as, like, you know, Hellboy or
Yeah.
stuff that's, like, super, I guess, in the
Yeah.
zeitgeist of the comic readers. In my world, no one had else that ever
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I
It's
always
the best.
appreciate that you can
Yeah.
recommend.
Dude, 6 Gun is so good. I'll let you borrow those next.
Hey,
if you're into it.
You had me sold. You said Cthulhu Cowboy.
Yeah. It
Done.
is, man. It is awesome.
Done.
Like, because I just read number 6, and the story is like, they're like traveling along, all of a sudden this like winter storm sucks them in, and they're in this like deserted town where all the people are frozen.
Yeah.
And it's like the Wendigo is hunting them or whatever, and it's crazy, man. It's so good.
Sold. So.
It
You
is,
know
like,
me.
everyone.
Monsters, weird horror,
the best,
arcane
man.
stuff. Done.
The pace of Uncharted. It's like an exciting story.
Yeah.
And
That's excellent.
it's so fun.
I might even borrow like the first volume, and then I might just like start collecting them myself, because that literally sounds directly
Yeah.
like up my alley.
Dude, yeah, go for it. I've bought out most of them that were at Half Price Books.
That's fine. I don't mind. I've also lately, since the pandemic, I've really enjoyed the idea of like online collect. Not necessarily I don't enjoy buying things,
Right.
but like the act of hunting them down. It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a fun
yeah.
hobby.
So-
Even if I'm like I just stare at something for like a year and never pull the trigger on it, I'm like I know
Yeah.
where it is. I'm just not gonna buy it.
I ended up doing a weird purchasing choice for this series that's going to result in an old man story. So,
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
48 hours earlier.
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
So I had number 2 like sitting on my shelf for a while. Finally read it, and I was like, forgot how good this was. And I went out and I bought 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And then I finished 4. I was like, I need more of these. So I went out to buy 5 or whatever. And Half Price Books has like the deluxe volume, and so 5 and 6 is like in the same book, but it's like oversized, tons of extras in it or whatever. So it's like a 2-pound book or whatever. I had it in my car because I read it while I'm in carpool picking up my kid from school.
I mean, that's
And
fair.
so when she went to like get in the car, I like reached into the back seat to set the book down, pulled my shoulder muscle. It's like
Hello.
it's been over a week and it's like still
no.
sore.
It's okay.
I'm like, what's wrong with me?
I thought for sure I dislocated my elbow today when I was picking up Piper.
Oh man.
And it's not like the kid's heavy. I mean, she's getting big,
Yeah.
but it's not like she's 50
Yeah,
pounds.
she's still a baby.
And like I was sitting there at a work call, and I'm like typing away, like filling out a thing while I'm on the call, and she's behind me eating her little baby snacks, and then she starts like, I feel her like pulling on me, so I go to turn around to pick her up and put her in my lap, and like I was at this angle, this weird angle, and I picked her up straight, and my elbow went snap, and it was the loudest gross. It was so loud that Piper was like, "Huh!" Like it startled
no.
her. She doesn't like, obviously, most babies don't. She doesn't like loud noises, like, you know, yelling in pain.
Yeah.
So I was like, and like just kind of had to like hold the tears I cried on the inside of my face. Because she knew that something was wrong. Because I was not like, oh, happy bubbly daddy. I was like... Just a lot of Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
A lot of Home Alone moments.
Macaulay Culkin just got you.
Yeah. He just got clonked on the head with a tool box or something.
With an 80-pound toolbox?
Yeah. Did you know, by the way, that there's super random tangent, but there was a horror movie that was made a few years ago that was like if Home Alone was real.
So it's like this kid just murdering criminals?
Straight up slaughtering people with like Home Alone traps.
I'm still like scarred.
It's called
from
Better Watch Out, I think it's called.
I'm still scarred from Brightburn. I don't think I could watch another.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it wasn't quite that gory, because that movie was graphic. But that's James Gunn, though, man. Definitely produced it. And if he had his money behind it, he was like, you gotta amp it up, man. You gotta make it...
Yeah, go all in.
You gotta make people cringe when they watch
Certainly did.
Yeah. Multiple times, too. Not just once or twice.
I got one more old man story while we're on it.
Yeah, go for it.
In the car this morning, the radio does Throwback Thursdays, so it's playing all the classic jams or whatever.
Oh, no. I don't
and
like
my daughter is all like, yeah, I recognize all these because I know you and Mommy listen to all this old music, which is already kind of, And then she's like, yeah, like at dance practice, they were playing this one song. What's that one with the music video where it's like about a high school? And I was like, I have no idea. And she's like, oh, I remember. Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Jeez.
Thinking about that as an old song. Also, I like how she thinks of it as a music video about a high school.
Yeah. I mean, there's a high school in it, but I wouldn't say it's about a high school. Return of the Mac came on the radio the other day. And Sadie just could not stop giggling. She was like, what is this song? And I was like, it's one of the best. It's one of the best. She was like, is this a song from when you were a kid? I was like, doesn't matter when it's from. Doesn't matter, you know?
It's timeless.
It is. There's so many songs out there that are timeless, and Return of the Mac is one of those songs. Just like Montel Jordan. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
That's timeless.
That came on this morning.
Nice.
And she was jamming to it. I was like, that's what's up. Return of the Mac, I almost said that to be my ringtone. But then it's like about someone being on the rebound. I just didn't express the family values I support.
But yeah, didn't you have Living My Best Life?
Oh, I still do.
Yeah. I mean, it's not family friendly either.
But it's not anti-family.
Is Return of the Mac anti-family?
If I'm married and I'm out there
trying
to get my Mac on,
I got you.
I'm trying to play a bird.
I got you. Pay my 2 eggs to get 2 eggs, but I'm also going to discard 2 cards. Get out of my hand. I don't need you. I don't like you. Useless birds. Get out of my preserve. I'm being Joe Exotic. Waving my gun around. I'm not going to shoot them, though. Sometimes I get really weird with my eggs. I'm like, ooh, I like to match my egg colors as much as I can with the birds.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, that is the scissor-tailed flycatcher.
Isn't it?
In position to lay some eggs.
Is it in... I guess, yeah, to start the process of doing so.
Between turns, since you laid eggs, I get an egg.
Yay! You're welcome.
Black-necked stilt. That's what's up.
There's one bird on here that's like a small bird and it eats a rat. I was like, oh! That's terrifying.
It's not a bird, it's just a bat. You rolled more rat.
Sure did. 2 more rats. 2 grubs, though.
Rub-a-dub-dub, as they say.
I'm actually going to take those 2 grubby grubs. Okay.
Play a bird. The lazuli bunting is a very nice bird. Latin name anemomia means beautiful or charming. I know someone who teaches Latin, and if they hear this, they would kill me for how to pronounce that, I'm sure.
Just going back on comics, though, what about this Claus?
I never figured out how to pronounce it, but it's unexpectedly exciting. It's like if you combined Conan the Barbarian with Assassin's Creed.
Can you just, like...
And made it about Christmas.
I just need you to like start a blog, but aim it only at me. And in this blog, give your elevator pitch, which you have been, on these like obscure or just like, you know, random like non-mainstream comics. And I'll spend more money than I need to because yes, that's 2 for 2, man.
Dude, it was wild.
Is it like a one and done kind of thing?
I mean, I think they left it open in case they wanted to make more, but it wraps up pretty nicely. It's like there's some town with some oppressive wizard controlling it, whose mind controlled everyone to go into the mines to dig up some ancient evil.
Okay.
And this Conan type finds the magic forest fairies, empower him to make toys for the children to bring them joy in this joyless town. And then he breaks in to, defeat this evil wizard, but he does it stealthily, like he's climbing up buildings with a hood on and an Assassin's Creed style. He's got a pet wolf, bounds in and bounds out. It's paced a little too fast. Like there's a couple times where it's like they'll reference some backstory that was never part of the comic and doesn't really move the story forward. It's just like a interesting world building detail.
Yeah.
But it hits you out of nowhere and like doesn't come back. But it was a fun read, and it ends in like this exciting climax of him, fighting the evil sorcerer.
It's pretty cool.
As the ancient evil is stirred, and it sounds like a kid's holiday special, but it's like
it sounds like violent. A Saturday morning cartoon.
But he's like cutting people open, and there's like blood and skulls everywhere.
Oh well.
So it's a weird blend of genres. And overall gets a thumbs up. So I'll loan it to you next Christmas. Get you in the mood.
Very good. Give me the spirit. And then next time you see me after that, I'm just dressed. I'm cosplaying as him. And I have a wolf companion. I show up and Spot's freaking out because the wolf smells on me. That Spot was my friend. Why is he...
Dude, it's so funny.
Growling and shaking in the corner.
He, loves you so much. He must, remember when you played with him as a puppy.
I still think about that day that we were over there and I was playing with him so much that he got so excited that he goes, but he didn't puke. He just made that noise. Like he just got so worked up.
Dude,
he had some sort of acid reflux.
He did that to my father-in-law. He was rolling him around on his belly and flipping him over, and so I was like, blah. I think we found out he had a B12 deficiency, so he couldn't digest his food. It might have been related.
Could have been.
Playing birds. Corsican nuthatch. This vulnerable species is found only on the island of Corsica, where it feeds on pine seeds.
Oh, how interesting.
All 21 centimeters of its wingspan. So I get to draw a new bonus card.
Yeah, and it stacks with the one that you have.
And then I get to take a card from the bird feeder.
Man.
What a lucky draw.
Clutch.
I'm going to take a rat.
Probably should.
Because that's all I can take if I don't roll. And if I rolled, I would Yahtzee 5 rats. Because that's my luck with dice.
Right. Well, I guess I'm going to lay eggs.
Oh, then I get an egg, thanks to the American Avocet.
Your turn. Last turn for this round.
I'm going to play the red-shouldered hawk. He's going to eat this rat. But we can both lay an egg.
Cool.
Not the kind of generosity I would normally support in a game like this. But.
For my last turn this round, I shall draw some birds.
Draw me like one of your French birds.
It's like a sexy bird laying on the couch.
Or like the cover of the Wingspan box.
And that's it.
So, as we go into this final round, I'm more interested in you telling me about the Dropout. But
yeah.
If you want to talk about Dope Sick more, which one are you more excited about?
I can talk about Dropout because Dope Sick came out last year, and it's good. It's just real sad about the OxyContin epidemic in the mid-thousands. Like when everyone was apparently getting hooked on it.
I mean, I still feel like they're overprescribing it, aren't they?
Not as bad. I mean, they are, but
hear.
not near as bad as they once were. Dope Sick though, it has a solid cast. It's got Michael Keaton, Rosario Dawson, Will Poulter.
Oh, I kind of remember this now. It was like a miniseries, right?
Yeah, on Hulu. I mean, it is very well done, and it's very, very good. It's just not going to make you feel great by the end.
Gotcha.
Thumbs up, just, it's dark.
Okay.
So, The Dropout just came out a week or two ago. I'm not for sure. It's relatively new.
It's on Hulu, so there's only been one or two episodes, right?
Well, no, so Hulu does this thing when they do miniseries, because they did the same thing for Pam and Tommy. They drop the first 3 episodes all at once. So Dropout is on its 4th or 5th episode now, and it's really good. It's Amanda Seyfried plays the main character, who's Elizabeth Holmes, who was she got busted because she had created a medical technology company called Theranos or something like that. But basically, her idea that she sold falsely under false pretenses to all these different backers and pharmacies and all this stuff was that they could design a blood test machine where you'd basically prick your finger, put your little blood drop on this little card thing, put the card in this machine, and it would run a gambit of tests to tell you if you had anything from like a blood disorder to like blood cancer, if you think about it now that you know it's fake, like not feasible. Like that's just not going to.
Just think about it, because I've done like health tests where they're like, we're going to draw a vial of blood to do 3 tests.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to give you everything off one drop.
Yeah. And it's like...
which, if it was true, you'd invested that.
Yeah. So the whole interesting drama behind the story is that, like, right off the bat, there was a lot of people that jumped on her idea so hard that they got super hosed when they realized that she had been lying the whole time.
Oh, my God.
And, like, so basically... So it's called the Dropout because she quit college. She was a Stanford student, and she quit in her 2nd or 3rd year.
Like a classic Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates story.
Yeah.
Except
well, dude,
all a lie.
It's so funny that you say Bill Gates because, like, she idolized Jobs to, like, have the idea of, like, you know, a front man for a company that was like this, came from not necessarily nothing, but, like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, started it all sort of
in
thing.
the garage.
Yeah, that was, like, her idol. So she's dropped out of Stanford, started this, like, idea with a bunch of engineers and biologists and, like, health specialists and stuff like this. But they could never get it off the ground, and she faked, they weren't part of it. They didn't realize what she was doing until it was too late. She faked a bunch of test results so that when she pitched it to pharmacies and medical groups that would pay for her to do these tests or to, like, further her company, like, it all looked... you know, above the board. So it obviously was not. And then she was dating this dude that she met in college that was like 15 years her senior. 15, 20 years her senior. His name was Sonny Bulwari, I think his name is. But he ended up backing her financially and became the CCO of the company while they were getting everything off the ground. And he straight up knew everything was false. But then obviously eventually there were some whistleblowers and people that were like, we're not okay with you selling false promises to people who are actually sick. Because like she ends up going to like her backers are like, oh, go test it out in the field, like take it to like a nursing home or something. And she would, and it obviously wouldn't work. And these people would be like,
oh no,
you gave me false hope. And she's like, oh no,
sad. I thought it was like a vaporware story. Oh man.
No, so she's awaiting trial, or sentencing, I should say. Her trial's over. She's awaiting sentencing.
In the episode you're watching, or in real life?
In real life. The first 3 episodes lead up to like the beginning of her really starting out the company.
Yeah, what's the vibe of the show?
It's just straight drama.
I mean, is she like the villain or whatever? Is it like
sure.
Villain origin story kind
like
of thing?
They try real hard to like humanize her and like make her sympathetic to the viewer. She doesn't vibe with people normally. The interesting thing about it though is that she started this whole idea not to like become some sort of egotistical villain in that sense, like we're like, oh, I'm sitting on a mountain of money. She has stated that she wanted to help people. It just was too ambitious and too
much too fast.
Yeah. Instead of admitting defeat, she just kept pushing the lie, you know? And until it backfired on her. But it's good. It's got Naveen Andrews in it, and I haven't seen him since Lost.
What?
He was Saeed. Yeah.
Oh, I love Saeed.
But Amanda Seyfried, like I said, she's awesome. It was supposed to be Kate McKinnon was the main, but she backed out. And
to be Carol King?
Maybe. Who knows? But it's good. It's not bad. Cool. It's just it's just not another feel good show. It's just one of those true crime dramatizations, I guess.
Been rewatching New Girl, and that's my number 1 feel good show. It makes me laugh so hard.
Man, it is so good. Arrested Development's mine. I love it. Seasons 1 through 3. I don't really care about 4 and 5.
I want to see 4 again. I never saw 5, but I want to see 4 again now that they recut it to be like a normal season.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's
I really
much
like
better.
the high concept of the other one. But I always like high concept weird stuff.
It's much better than how it originally aired. Now that they've recut it, like it's so much better. It's night and day difference better, but still 1 through 3. For me, TV comedy perfection. There's not much else that you can get better than that for me.
Alright, let's bring these birds home.
Alright, last round. Let's do it. And we'll tally up our points and we can talk about the Batman.
This is intense eye contact. I'm sure they heard it on the podcast.
Probably did. Probably felt awkward. Probably.
It's like, why do I just have this sense of...
Gosh. Start looking over the shoulder.
It's like Batman's here.
Right.
The Batman's here.
You go.
Oh, I'm out of eggs. Classic bird problems. As a bird enthusiast, I know all about missing out on eggs.
I don't have any more eggs in my hutch. That's the thing, right? The egg hutch.
could put eggs in a hutch, I'm sure. Because it's a point every time I tuck a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one bad card tucker.
Yeah, at this point, it's all about them
Yeah,
points.
round 4, get them points. You're up.
I'm gonna lay eggs.
Did you just kiss your egg?
Good luck. Grow into a nice big bird.
So he comes out, and then I get to activate his row. So I got to look at a card from the deck. My red-shouldered hawk is going hunting.
Yeah, you get to tuck that bad boy.
Pygmy nuthatch is smaller than 75 centimeters, wingspan-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tuck him.
You tuck him. Tuckaroo.
Let's each lay an egg.
Let's do it!
Spread the love.
Yeah! That's what we do here above the board. Would you like me to regale you about triangle strategy real quick? While you're thinking of your turn?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's really good. It's fun. It's another one of those perfect Switch games where you can just like pick up and play, you know?
Because it's a tactical strategy game.
Yeah, like an isometric.
So are the battles short enough?
It's easy enough to like pick up in between like turns. Like you don't have. It's not like a constant battle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But like it's super strategic in the sense of like the direction your characters are facing matters greatly. Elevation matters and just like placement of individual pieces versus like I don't know, like a Fire Emblem strategy where you can like bunch your platoon together and kind of just pick off an enemy platoon or like surround them. Each unit is its own character with its own abilities that you get from leveling up and stuff like that. But they also like do a really cool job of playing off of each other. One character's ability could be it delays an enemy's attack if it's standing next to a healer. So like if your healer's like right next to a certain enemy that could be attacking that healer, if you attack them, then your healer's safe and your healer can heal you.
Oh, nice.
You can also like stack attacks. So if you have an enemy character in one little quadrant or square or whatever, and then you have 2 or 3 characters around him, and then you move a 4th character to attack, whatever character is touching him can also attack automatically. Like it just does like a random attack. But flip side of that is that the enemies can do that too. So if the enemies surround you, they do the same thing to you. But no, it's really cool. The story's, I mean, it's a Square Enix game, so it's very Final Fantasy-esque, like just that weird, like high fantasy. Nothing really matters. Nothing really makes sense. You know what I mean?
But you gotta save the world.
But you gotta find a princess. You gotta stop chaos. You gotta do magic.
The powers of chaos.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think like the selling point on it is the battle mechanic. And with the Switch, I feel like, especially at the point we are in our lives, like if you're going to pick up like an in-depth Switch game, if it's not a platformer, those are the type of games that you want where you can just pick up and play at any given point and then put it back down. It's fun. So thumbs up for sure.
Money. This is what I wanted to draw, my friend. Savi's Warbler. I was thinking that.
Were you? In your mind? In your mind palace?
Yeah. As a bird enthusiast.
Yeah.
I gotta say Savi's Warbler. It's right at the top of my list. Paolo Savi is called the father of Italian geology.
It's so good.
But he was also an ornithologist. So this was his warbler.
I'm so glad.
It's a legendary warbler. There's only one in the deck.
Yeah.
Because this is specifically Savi's.
There would only be one of that warbler. I'm going to play this graded Roadrunner. Here, since we're trading facts, did you know Roadrunners rarely fly, but will jump up to snatch prey out of the air?
Oh, snap.
Like a raptor. Graded Roadrunner, I imagine, is basically an American raptor. Look at that thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like blue and Jurassic Park 5.
Mr. Arnold. That's like what you find his arm?
It took me a second, but I got there.
I'm going to play a bird. Savi's Warbler.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
All right. I'm going to play me, bird. I'm going to put this Eastern Phoebe right there. And then you can draw a bird if you want.
So what? What's on this bird's head? Because, like, what is on this bird's head?
What is even on this bird?
Gala. A noisy idiot might be called a gala after these gregarious, playful birds.
It's kind of rude.
So we're about to do the final action of the game and see who wins. Should we talk about the Batman first, or do the final action and then add up our score?
Let's do the final action, add up our score, and we'll end it with Batman.
Oh, okay.
La ratatata.
Tease people all the way to the end.
Goodbye? Question mark?
You don't get La ratatata. When they were like, URL. That was a good part.
It was. I was like, that one got me. I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. But anyway, all right, your final turn, sir. What are you gonna do?
If I make eggs, I'll gain 1, 3 eggs and tuck for a 4th point. Or if I play this dude, I'll lose 2 eggs and he's worth 5 for 3 points. So the correct answer is to lay eggs.
You were like egg baron, and now
Nothing
look at you.
there.
Your hutch is full of eggs.
I'm just ovulating like a champ.
Can we put that on a above the board t-shirt?
Ovulating like a champ with our faces on it, like the logo.
Yep.
That's sell out immediately.
Yeah, they would.
Limited edition.
By now. We're not making them anymore. We sold out. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right.
I drew a bird called a ruff, and he looks rough.
I bet.
He's got like the haircut from those aliens in Babylon 5. They're like the money grubbing people in Babylon 5. The flat Queen Amidala haircut. All our Babylon 5 fans will get what I'm talking about.
Sure they will. I mean, not that it matters, but you can get a grub. You can draw a bird. You want a bird? Get a bird.
Yeah. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, they say.
If only there was like a... What's that one card game where like you deduct points from how many cards you have in your hand? There's a lot like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
It's like that one music video with the
with the high school. Yeah. So that's the end of round 4. All right. So now, here comes the fun part. We'll pull out the handy-dandy scorecard.
Ooh.
And we're just
But not yet. We're going to talk about Batman.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or do they want to know our score?
Let's leave them hanging.
Which one do they want more? They're not going to hear Batman and turn it off and not find out.
So do you want to know yours? Let's go.
Especially after all that smack you talked in the beginning about how you're going to win.
Yeah, is that what I did?
It's recorded. We'll play it back.
Yeah. I guess you are in charge of editing. All right.
I'll just like dub over it real poorly. I'm going to beat you, fella.
Why did I turn into a Joel Schumacher Batman villain? All right. So the first thing we add up is all your bird points. Okay. So you got 11.
I thought we were going to talk about Batman first.
You just said, I thought you said they wanted to know the score first.
I thought I said...
It doesn't matter. We're doing this. We're doing this. All right. 11, 13, 18, 22, 24, 28, 35, 39, 42, 45. Right? Check my math.
I will, because I feel like you added 6 wrong there. 11 on this row, 13, 18, 22, 24, plus 6 is 30, 7, 41, 47.
It's 47. All right, 47. 47. Then we got your bonus cards. What are your bonus cards? All right, that's a pretty good score, 95.
Ooh.
So, Philip, your score is 95, and we got 12, 14.
Well, no.
12, right?
Yeah.
Plus 7 is
19.
19. You know what? Why don't you just count out, Philip?
17, 24, 28, 32.
So I came out at 70. You beat me by 15. Because you had 95, right?
Yeah, that's 25.
Anyway, it's after midnight. Well after midnight. Leave me alone, Philip. I don't teach math. I don't need math.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time. Not.
Anyway, let's talk about this Batman and then get the heck out of here.
So, The Batman. Starring Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Wright. And Zoe Kravitz.
Jeffrey Wright is who?
Gordon.
Oh, yeah. Because I was thinking, like, Paul Dano.
Yeah, I know. Great. That's why I laughed, because most other people would
Andy Serkis
would have thought
like at the top
either
of my
Zoe
list.
Kravitz or Paul Dano.
Andy Serkis is top notch.
Yeah, he was an awesome Alfred. I really liked their kind of like angsty relationship. Like more of Bruce towards Alfred. But then Alfred was kind of like, I really don't know how to handle this.
But I also like that he helped. I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
He was like instead of doing the New York Times crossword,
the
New York Times Wordle, he was like working on the
cipher, the Riddler cipher. Yeah, that was really cool. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I tell everyone that I think it's probably the best Batman origin story that we've gotten live action.
I know. I think it's funny you say that because I just it's just not an origin story to me.
I know, but it is. It's just not presented as one. Because, we don't see, thank God, we don't see Thomas and Martha get shot in the alley. Kind of done with that.
Yet again.
Yeah. This is like how Homecoming is Spider-Man's origin story for the MCU.
Yeah.
But it's not an origin story. Same thing. The spider bite in Homecoming is referenced, but we never see it. Tom and Martha are referenced heavily.
Yeah. Which, ironically, though, this is the first time I was actually really interested in seeing it. Because I guess in my mind, the Batman story, like, origin story takes place in the 50s, you know? Even though they always update it. But this is the first one where 20 years ago was, like, in the 2000s.
Yeah. I think it's also really cool, like, just, like, Batman as a media piece, is that you're right, it's always made to think that it happened in the 50s, like his origin as a kid, like his parents died. But they always do it in, like, a timeless way.
Yeah.
Where it could be, like, Gotham. Like, Gotham was hit hit or miss for me. But they made it timeless because they had cell phones, but then, like, everything looked old. They dressed old. They drove old cars. But they had cell phones and, like, flat screen TVs. It was weird. It's just kind of a cool way because Gotham's like a parallel New York. So it's kind of cool. I think that Matt Reeves did a fantastic job for this Batman.
Yeah. To me, I think the big win of this is that they went, like, full noir.
Yeah.
In a really cool way. It's like a noir tropes to a T, and it fits Batman so well because it's like him as a detective, and he's all like rough outside the law, private eye sort of situation.
I love the fact that they leaned heavily into Detective Batman. Like,
yes.
That was so
I think that's a huge win too, because I think that's always what made Batman cool.
Yeah,
is that he's like wasn't super, he just like
super
figured
smart
stuff out.
Yeah.
You know? Put his mind to work.
It's pretty cool. I joke and said that this is the wettest Batman movie you'll ever see. I mean, it's not true. It is the wettest Batman movie.
Those lubricated Batman movies.
It's so lubricated. It is not a king cake film, you know. But building off what you said with it being super noir, like that helped build the atmosphere of it being like this. I don't want to say neo-noir because that implies like Blade Runner, but like a modern noir, and it was beautifully shot too.
Oh yeah, everything was interesting. I think we both, since we talked about this offline, we agreed it's kind of slow.
Yeah,
it could be 10% faster.
Yeah, I could do with it losing about 30 minutes of screen time, and a good chunk of that is like shots being tightened up just a little bit.
That's also kind of like the noir thing, is you gotta like be moody a little bit.
Nah, I get it, but you don't have to be moody every single shot. Like, I loved it. It was really cool. But, like, the big Batman penguin chase scene, and he flips him, and he's approaching him, and he's upside down like a bat. Oh, he did it. He's so cool. But that's like it's not. But it felt like a 5-minute scene of him walking towards the penguin upside down. Yeah. It's like, okay. It looks great, but we can take... It is.
There was like 15 minutes they could have gotten from taking 30 seconds off all these shots.
Yeah, easily 15. I think more, man, honestly. And still kept that noir feel.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, there's so many, like, slow zooms, slow zoom outs, you know?
Or following someone walking.
Yeah.
I think is the ones that got me the most.
Yes. That, like, just a little bit too long. Like, setting up the scene is great. One thing, this is super off topic, but one thing I did enjoy, that no other character other than Riddler called him Batman. Maybe Gordon did once or twice, but no other character called him...
Yeah, they were calling him the Vigilante all the time.
Yeah, or Vengeance. But that was really cool.
And I think that thematically worked out really great in that how it was about him coming to terms with being Vengeance, and then in the end deciding not to be Vengeance. I thought that was really great. And my dad mentioned to me, I noticed at the beginning, like when he's like working and, you know, Alfred's like, oh, you got to get up and see these people or whatever. It's like the sunlight hits him in the face and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But then like at the end, he's like standing like in the sunrise, like in the sun.
Yeah.
And so that theme of him changing is there. And I was like, I noticed both of those, but didn't like connect them in my brain.
Yeah. I just now connected it in my brain.
Yeah. So I want to share it with the listeners, too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You're welcome. I did like a lot of the throwaway details that weren't meant to be throwaway, but they were like world-building stuff. Like his bat suit. Like, he didn't glide with a cape. Like, it was a wingsuit that he just, like, stepped into. That was, like, part of his suit. I thought that was really cool.
I feel like a lot of classic Batman is, like, full utility belt.
Yeah.
Where he just, like, whatever he needs is like, oh, I have it in my utility belt. Yeah. And I feel like they went the opposite direction, where he had gadgets, but it was like he had to plan on having it.
Yeah, I get that.
And it was like with that wingsuit where it was kind of like, it was like real clunky, and he's like, I guess I got a wingsuit. And
well, like at
even
first
the Batmobile like was super cool, but it also was like he welded, you know, an engine onto the back of a car. Like, it wasn't like a cool, sleek,
to a muscle car,
super invented car. It was like homebrew.
I dug his Batmobile though.
Oh yeah.
Like at least the aesthetic look of it, like it's just very cool. And that penguin chase too, when he's like barreling through like debris that fell off the truck, and it didn't even phase the car or anything. Like just like crashed straight through it. I was like, that's pretty cool. And hopefully, I'm sure we'll get another one, at least 2 more, because Reeves has plans for a trilogy.
I think that's my one thing, and the more I think about it, the more I feel like maybe it's my fault. But the fact that I felt like I couldn't evaluate it as just a movie.
Yeah.
Because like I was telling you, I really like it as like a DC Elseworlds almost, where it's just like one-off, Batman noir, super cool, awesome. But like, because of the way they make movies now, I feel like, is this part of a franchise I want to see? Do I want it to connect to these other movies? And I feel like the answer is no to all those questions. And then it makes me like it less. But as soon as I like try to stop thinking about it as like the DC cinematic universe,
well, it's
I'm
not
like,
part
this
of
is like the greatest Batman.
Yeah. So I get where you're coming from, and I agree with that. Like, because there's some...
Like, it is... My least favorite part of the whole movie is when it's got like... at the end of the credits when Joker is like talking to the Riddler, where it's like totally, it's like one of those things that only exists to establish a cinematic universe or whatever.
One of the worst kept secrets about the movie is that actor was cast as him, essentially unnamed Arkham prisoner.
Well, apparently they deleted a whole scene where Batman talks to him, which would have made the movie slower.
Yeah, only slower. Dude, Colin Farrell though.
Dude, he's the best.
I'm so excited now about his show that's coming to HBO Max.
What is it?
Just the Penguin. Like it's.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. He's getting his own Penguin show.
So there was that was already part of the plan, and then Matt Reeves was producing a GCPD spinoff show about the origin of this version of the GCPD with like Jeffrey Wright and Gordon rising through the ranks to be commissioner and all that.
Neat.
That got scrapped, but they're redoing it in a way that it's going to be an Arkham... He described it as an Arkham Asylum haunted house serial show. But the GCPD will still be affiliated with it. Obviously, you might have Jeffrey Wright still attached to it, so Gordon will still be around. There's rumors that we may get, like... What would that one guard, Nash, or whatever his name was, or Cash? I think his name was Cash. Killer Croc bites his hand off. He's like another... on the ground ally of Batman that like helps him like inside Arkham whenever stuff goes down.
I did like that. I felt like him and Gordon had a friendship more than like any other Batman movie I've seen.
Yeah, like a friendship / like an actual legitimate like working partnership. Yeah, like because
I feel like that's always been a thing in Batman is that like he works with Commissioner Gordon, but like in all the other ones it's just like they high five at the bat signal. Yeah. But this one they're like actually like doing cop work and Gordon is like, leave him alone, let him see the crime scene.
Yeah, he's with me.
Yeah,
I like that, and I liked how he helped him get away. Where he's like, they're like, he's like talking like real intensely like next to him, but he's really like, you're gonna punch me, and then you're gonna run out that door, and you're gonna go.
I
out
think
to the
that
left.
was one of my favorite moments in the whole movie.
So good because like he was talking to him like he was giving him crap.
Yeah.
So that it looked like through the window that he was like berating him, but he was telling him how to leave.
Like, give him clues and handing off the key to him and stuff.
Yeah. And then I liked when they meet up later, he's like, you could have pulled that punch a little bit. And he's like, I did.
Yes. Very Batman.
Yeah. It was very good. Zoe Kravitz, too, as Catwoman. She nailed it.
She was really good.
She's so good. I do think that...
Yeah, everyone...
Yeah.
Top
across the board.
Game.
I completely forgot, going back to the Penguin for a second, I completely forgot that was Colin Farrell.
Oh, yeah.
And
like
then,
there was a couple times where I was like,
that's him. Yeah.
Somebody said it was Colin Farrell, right? Like, this is Colin Farrell, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a couple times with just the way he moved his face, even through a prosthetic, you're like, that's definitely Colin Farrell. But like, just any other shot in the movie, it's like that doesn't sound like him, doesn't look like him.
So great.
I did like he did an interview with one of the late night people, and he said that he was in full costume and no one had seen him yet, and Jeffrey Wright like walked past him and he was like, morning. To Jeffrey Wright. He said that Jeffrey Wright just like mean mugged him and like wouldn't complain to Matt Reeves about him to get him kicked off the set. He thought he was just some like thug that like was hanging out. And then he said that they're like, no, that's Colin Farrell. That's Penguin. That's what he looks like. And then Colin Farrell said that his favorite thing was going into Starbucks and ordering like frou-frou drinks as the Penguin. Like people would be like, you want a oat milk latte? You sure?
That's awesome.
So, anyway, definitely thumbs up for the Batman.
Oh, yeah. Definitely check it out.
You're talking about how you don't want to like it less because you don't want to attach it to the rest of the DC universe.
Not even necessarily the stuff that came before it, but just like...
stuff that might come after?
Yeah. Like the fact that Like, because the Marvel movies, like, you just, like, can't even evaluate them as singular movies. Like, they're part of a bigger thing, you know?
Somewhat, yeah. I get what you're saying, but I feel like after Infinity War, or Endgame now, like, there's no clear-cut path, so they're now a little bit easier
But they're also, like, more connected in a lot of ways. Like, if I saw Spider-Man without having seen Doctor Strange, I feel like I would have been a little, like, playing catch-up. Like, what is up with this Doctor Strange guy?
Well, I mean, you would have also had not seen Infinity War and Endgame to not know who he was, though.
I mean, but that's how I was watching those, because I hadn't seen Doctor Strange when I'd seen Infinity and Endgame.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand this guy at all.
But that's not how you were when you saw Spider-Man.
Because I saw Doctor Strange before I saw Spider-Man. Because I realized I didn't want to feel like Infinity War.
No, I get it, man. I get it. I think, though, Matt Reeves' plan for, like, what he's doing with the Batman is just a trilogy, and it's not connected to the extended universe. The only thing that I could see where it could get a little cumbersome is all these spin-offs that every studio is wanting to do off of every successful franchise, like all these TV shows. As a geek, I don't care. I do not care. Like, give me more whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. Like, give me season 2 of Book of Boba Fett. I don't care. I know that everyone hates it. I loved it. Who cares? You know? Let me see more of Boba riding a Rancor. I do not care.
Do we need to say more about Batman, or can we pivot to the Obi Wan trailer?
Dude, let's pivot real fast. I'm so excited.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
The trailer, there's nothing in it. In fact, the trailer is mostly like Dark Jedi, actually.
The Inquisitors?
Yeah, it's like Sith or something.
You need to watch Rebels, man.
It's just enough that I'm like, I should watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 to get ready.
I know.
And I feel like it's got to be pretty exciting to make me think that.
Because they use Duel of the Fates.
Dude, yes.
As the background music. And I got super shook because a friend of mine from work was like, notice at the end, at the beginning of it, this is a super, not really deep cut, but like a super music nerd, like a soundtrack nerd bit. The opening sequence of the 1.5-minute trailer, teaser, whatever, is definitely Duel of the Fates, and only Duel of the Fates. Towards the end, when they start talking about like the words that flash, or talking about like finding hope still or whatever, it blends Duel of Fates with Battle of the Heroes, which is a song that played during Anakin and Obi-Wan's battle on Mustafar. So you can hear both of them blend into the other, and it has this like really cool mashup. It's hard to hear over like,
because a good mashup has an air horn like burr, burr, burr. This is the
another one. What? But yeah, dude, no, I'm super pumped. I'm so glad they're bringing in Inquisitors live action, because they're super cool villains from the animated series and the video game Fallen Order.
Fallen Order robot was in Book of Boba Fett,
or
which I thought was neat.
At least a droid that looked like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Inquisitors, they're bad people, man. The main dude in the Obi-Wan trailer, the main bad guy that's like spinning his, I assume the one that's talking throughout the whole trailer, he's the main bad guy in season 1 and maybe season 2 of Rebels, and he's bad news, man. I don't think he's going to be the main villain for the Obi-Wan show. I think it's the other one, like the chick that's like in more shots than he is.
It's like weird. Ewan McGregor's not even in it. But
no,
like
not really. Yeah,
and as soon as he comes out, I was like, yes.
Uncle Owen's in it more than Obi-Wan is.
Oh yeah,
he's in way more shots.
And I love that every time someone talked about this potential show or whatever, it's like, is he just gonna be like creeping on Luke? And that's in the trailer.
It is. Where he's pretending to be a pod racer. Little 10-year-old Luke. I feel like that shot should be like the final shot of the show, though.
It very well could be. Unless it's like in the middle and there's like assassins going for baby Luke. He's got to protect him.
Yeah, dude, no, I'm super hyped. I'm also excited to see that he's not going to be on only Tatooine. Because I am a little Tatooined out. We got to get away from the desert
Mr.
planets.
Boba Fett Book 2. That's the most Tatooine of all the things.
I didn't say give me more Tatooine. I said give me more Book of Boba Fett.
I feel like nothing's more like iconic in Star Wars locale-wise other than Tatooine.
Agreed, but that doesn't mean that it all has to happen in Tatooine. Nothing annoyed me more than the fact that Rey came from a desert planet that was identical to Tatooine. I was like, come on, JJ, please. It doesn't have to be like a jungle planet. We're not looking at Endor here, but can we just do something like Corellia from Solo was interesting to look at.
But part of it is that had to be a nobody from nowhere.
Well, they certainly
couldn't
succeeded.
Be from a cool place.
Anyway.
It's like if you meet somebody from Hawaii, they're automatically like interesting because you're like, oh, Hawaii.
It's true.
But if someone is like Arizona desert, you're kind of like, oh, sounds like a bummer.
Jeez. Hard take. Hot take. So, Arizona, we hate you.
Oh, I thought it was a hot take because of the desert heat.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I take it back then.
It's a dry heat, though. That's what they'll tell you.
I've never been to Arizona.
I drove through it
I've flown over it, but I've never experienced the dry heat.
It's still hot.
Nah, that's not good for me.
It's like clearly a hot, humid day is awful. And if you could have the same temperature without the humidity, it would be like better, I guess. You can't excuse 110 degree weather by saying it's dry. And they got like weird dust storms that can kick up. That sounds terrible.
It gets cold at night there, though, doesn't it? Like any desert?
Somewhat, but not like...
Well, no, not like freezing.
Yeah.
All right, we are like way in the weeds.
So we better sign off.
Alrighty.
Thanks for watching
Above the Board with Josh.
and Phil. So keep it above the board.
With Josh.
And Phil.
There you go. You said your name twice.
See, doesn't that work so much better than whenever you open the show
Yeah,
up today?
so much better. So much better. Catch you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
You win. Perfect.